El Salvador is buying one Bitcoin per day. In light of recent events, we discuss the case for XRP and Algorand. We'll also be discussing which stablecoin is the safest. Ripple gets support from Blockchain Association in its lawsuit against SEC. In NFT news, Pudgy Penguins announces Kellogg's Partnership, Super Rare sells out its Rare Pass, Adidas unveils Genesis Wearables Virtual Gear, and Magic Eden debuts a new mint format. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Assets of Value podcast. Today, on November the 17th, and every day, we connect to give you an industry insider's perspective on crypto, Web3, and NFT topics. We are the founders of Assets of Value, a Web3 research organization. We aim to discuss, inform, and share opinions on the hottest Web3 topics. Our podcast is not to be taken as legal or financial advice. Let's dive straight into it. As always, Abe, what are the markets looking like today?
Hey Shab, market is on a stalemate right now. The bulls and bears are fighting each other just for some dominance, and open interest is on the rise again. And that puts us in a difficult position because whenever open interest rises, especially in a bear market, that means more leverage is getting added to the system. And the larger the leverage, the riskier the trade gets. I think we might see a major recovery rally soon, but before that, we'll have to test the lowest levels of November, like that's 15.5k, maybe yet again. If we go below that, then we might be ready to witness some major bearish action from Bitcoin and all these altcoins.
We were discussing funding rates not too long ago. Have you got a view of the current rates at the moment? Because they signify that the bottom could potentially be in. You mentioned that we are still over leveraged. What are the funding rates at the moment?
Surprisingly, funding rates are quite normal these days because you see, Bitcoin has been hanging around this 16.7k to 16.8k region for quite long, and the funding rate is less than 0.01%. That means the market is not too bearish or not too bullish, and it's not even normal or it's not even neutral also. That's why I said it's a tricky market. It can go any way it wants. And we have this major news that most of these Bitcoin miners has been selling all these Bitcoin they mined plus something they hold from past also. That means miners are in distress and all these whales are in distress because 30% to 50% of these long-term holders are at lows. We are talking about in the history of Bitcoin, this never happened. At any point in time, 50% of these long-term holders, they were never in loss. So this is a pretty new thing, and all these on-chain data changes accordingly.
That could be the reason why El Salvador is buying one Bitcoin per day. So that's making the news headlines at the moment. Famously, not too long ago, the president of El Salvador began purchasing Bitcoin at, I can't remember the exact rate, maybe around the $40,000 mark where he's purchasing. He's recently come out to say that from now onwards, he's buying one Bitcoin per day. What's your opinion on this? It sounds like it's a perfect time to be buying.
Yes, it's a perfect time to be buying Bitcoin if you are investing in Bitcoin as an asset. But what El Salvador is doing, they are treating Bitcoin as money, like legal tender. So buying more Bitcoin doesn't make sense when you use the same Bitcoin as your default payment ledger. For example, you pay for coffee, you pay for everything in Bitcoin. And does it really matter when you add more Bitcoin to your basket? Because I think that's inflating the currency. Like El Salvador's currency is Bitcoin. And when you add more Bitcoin to the basket, that means you are inflating Bitcoin. And it doesn't make sense, right? I think nations, all these countries, at least free countries, should consider buying Bitcoin as an asset, like in addition to their gold reserves. That will be a better strategy rather than just going after dollar and potentially pumping the dollar prices, thereby deflating US economy and inflating regional economy. And this gets in a death loop and everyone will suffer if they don't adopt to and adapt to new strategies and new environmental situations.
I mean, it could be that the president is using dollars to make this purchase, so that would bring down his average price a lot lower. And it's an interesting point that you bring up around purchasing power and using it as an actual currency, because one Bitcoin will stay as one Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what you peg it against if it's only one Bitcoin. But yeah, he could be using its sovereign reserves to purchase that Bitcoin, which then would bring in that a lower cost overall. Right, moving on to wrapping up the recent events. I don't know whether we can wrap this up, but in light of certain recent events, we've seen exchanges really suffering with the coins and tokens that they're offering, and there many users are now transferring their tokens into wallets that they have their own keys, self custody. I think it warrants a conversation about which stable coin is the safest, because if you are going to keep it on the exchange, waiting for buy the dip opportunity, which stable coin would you use? The ones that spring to mind are USDT, USDC, BUSD, or even DAI. What's your thoughts on that, Abe?
I think really depends upon where you are from or where you are located. If you have access to the dollar, that means you are from US, then you are better off holding dollar. Like you don't need to add a second layer risk to your dollar holdings. But if you are from Asia, say Asia, where inflation is rampant and there's a demand for dollar, you don't need to purchase dollar from the black market or from the legal market where you pay a really high fee. Then you can be better off holding stablecoins. In that case, your best solutions are USDT, USDC, and BUSD. But if you consider the past and the history of these stablecoins, I think BUSD has a slight edge, because not only because it's associated with the largest exchange in the world, it has the support of PAXG, which is Paxos, and that means it will survive the crash or it will survive any liquidity crisis. And it is currently trustworthy. It has enough liquidity in the system. It is present in Binance chain, in the Ethereum chain, and I think that these things provide BUSD a slight edge over others. But if you are just holding a stable coin, not for investment, just for holding, I think you are better off holding USDC because it has support from BlackRock and Fidelity and all those big institutions. So forget USDT, just focus on BUSD and USDC.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on there. It's certainly a question that I'm seeing that is being asked across the Twitter space. Um, with everything going on and the same financial institutions that are affected, is there now a stronger case for potentially a revamp of the financial system? Specifically, where would Algorand and XRP come into this landscape?
Well, Algorand, it's a carbon neutral blockchain like Polkadot. I think it has relevance when it comes to climate sustainability and everything. But XRP, that offers value to all the XRP whales and doesn't offer anything for the XRP holders. Because yeah, you'll be holding XRP, you'll be holding your bag for longer periods and you won't see any returns on your investment. Even if you check the 2021 bull market, XRP didn't perform anything. Like it did a max of maybe 2x or 3x from bottom, where other projects like any meme coin, any gaming coin, they did 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x, and more. So if you're holding XRP, you are benefiting the whales. If you are holding XRP, you are benefiting Ripple, and you are not benefiting yourself. So maybe it's time to grow out of XRP and just better invest in better assets.
Yeah, but with XRP, a replacement for Swift or the old banking transactions, I don't know if that's actually been officially announced or that is the way that XRP is moving forward. And we know that Algorand already has a huge amount of corporate backing. Is there a case that XRP or its networks or Algorand and its network could be used as a backbone of any centralized stablecoin that may be issued out by any of the governments?
I don't think so because XRP doesn't have smart contract capabilities. It can add a smart contract layer in terms of XRP ledger, but it adds more risk and more liquidity crisis to the network. So, in terms of becoming the next Swift, I don't think XRP is the option. And yes, so Algo has a lot of financial backing, and that's why they'll survive the bear market and they'll perform really well in the next run. But you have to see the tokenomics here. Algorand has a massively inflated tokenomics. That means they have over 10 billion of supply and a massive market cap. So if you are into high caps and if you are expecting the least ROI, maybe you can go with Algo. That's a possibility. But in terms of becoming the next Swift, I think Algorand also doesn't hold any real chance.
Thanks for clarifying that. Always insightful to hear your opinion on this. Sticking with XRP and Ripple getting support from a blockchain association against its lawsuit against SEC, is that positive news? How much actual weight does the blockchain association have? Could they actually influence that, or is it a collective representation of people within the crypto industry?
Yes, it offers some kind of moral satisfaction to XRP holders and XRP investors, but in reality, it doesn't make any sense because XRP is not fighting against SEC, XRP is just fighting for its survival. But SEC is trying to claim that all of these cryptos it belongs to SEC and they can tax wherever they want, they can tax whoever they want, and it just doesn't set up a good precedence for the evolution of cryptocurrencies as a financial instrument. In my opinion, if Ripple wins the case against SEC, which they might, there's a high possibility that they will win. If that happens, it's a really good day for crypto. And if they don't, I don't think that makes any difference because already SEC is censoring Ethereum blocks. Like almost 60% of these Ethereum blocks are censored, and Ethereum is one of the most decentralized blockchains we know of. So, this is the fact, this is the reality, and we can maybe try to conveniently forget that. And the centralization is a really big risk, and decentralization is the only way. But even the most decentralized currencies, they are heavily scrutinized and regulated.
I think this case is going to still drag on. It's been well over a year, nearly two, and there seems like every time there is an end in sight, it just seems to drag on, or there's some other controversy that takes all the headlines and then puts the case back a bit. I've got no insights or connections with any of the ongoings, but looking from an outsider in, it just seems like it's still not close to a conclusion. Pudgy Penguins, an NFT collection, that has recently announced a Kellogg's partnership. So their avatar, or one of their avatar, has appeared on the Frosties box, sharing the actual cereal cover with Tony the Tiger. This is another case of NFTs and its artwork hitting the mainstream. That's going to be on breakfast tables for anyone that does eat Frosties. I just thought that was a nice positive news, especially from the collection that we've not actually heard too much about. Definitely an OG within the space. Sticking with NFTs, Super Rare sells out its Rare Pass Genesis. It's an NFT marketplace that does one-of-one artworks from known Web3 artists. It sold its Rare Pass Genesis collection via a Dutch auction. The final resting price was 17.25 ETH. So that is around $20,000 for this pass. Each rare pass will provide holders with a access or with one edition of an NFT from a collection of 250 for each month from top artists. So each Rare Pass will provide the holder with one edition of 250 NFTs that are dropped each month from different artists. So different artists will be featured per month, and one NFT will be dropped from a collection size of 250 for each of these Genesis pass holders. And these NFTs, or the artists that they've got lined up, they have a considerable collection. Most notably is Xcopy. He's got artwork that it's highly valuable within the NFT space. So that one-on-one collection is going to be offered to all of these Genesis pass holders, as well as additional perks. Magic Eden debuts a new mint format. This will be familiar to those who participated in auctions for the Doodles, Genesis boxes, and a few other projects. But in short, minters will deposit Ethereum over a 24-hour auction period, and Magic Eden will balance the total Ethereum committed with the total NFT supply. A final clearing price will be determined. All winning bids above the clearing price will get the NFT, and any excess and Ethereum and those who bid under the clearing price will be fully refunded. So they did tout some benefits of this style, including fair price discovery, timing flexibility, given the fact that it's a 24-hour window, and less FOMO from anyone who's looking to buy. This also reduces bots, because you need to commit that Ethereum and you don't know what you're going to be spending and the final price. And it also reduces the quick flip opportunities because the fair price is almost established upon mint. Abe, what's your thoughts on this new direction quickly?
Well, to compete with OpenSea, surely these NFT platforms has to take on a big leap. Like maybe it will be in terms of the user interface, maybe it will be in terms of their advanced NFT functions. But I think probably Magic Eden is making the right moves here because we saw them customizing their mint fees. We saw them eliminating some of these creator payments and creator percentage. All these things, they are doing something unique and probably they are becoming more advanced than OpenSea right now. The only problem is that Solana as a network, it's not trustable yet. On the other hand, Ethereum is more trustworthy. It has more volume, liquidity, more NFTs, and yeah, that's the only problem Magic Eden will be facing in the near future. But I remember Pudgy Penguins, the founder of Pudgy Penguins, talked something really impressive. I think that's the main tweet that helped me just digest these founders' mindset in NFTs. So he said, "My penguin is me, and I am my penguin." So this strong affiliation and affinity towards the NFTs, that's unseen in the crypto space. And now we are seeing more of these community-based NFTs, community-based trends and everything. I think NFT space is evolving much faster than we thought. And yeah, it's actually pretty good to see that.
Abba, you've just opened a whole new discussion thread around PFP's digital association with those, and the value that one holder has with its NFTs. I think that discussion is definitely going to be for another time. Just quickly, we've not done this in the last few episodes, but usually you're always looking ahead. What are you working on in the background from a research perspective?
Oh, I'm working on a list of microcap projects. That means these altcoins that's worth less than 1 million or maybe less than 5 million in market capitalization. I think that will bring us potentially 1000x gains, if not 500x gains. That'll be pretty awesome.
Right, let's say no more, and maybe we drop a bit of alpha at to end the week off. For now, as always, it's been super fun. I'm glad you were able to jam with us today. That's it until next time. Thank you, everybody, and we're signing off.